Hello everyone, it is me, Darcy. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to what is obviously a podcast because I am joined by Kris.
Yes.
Now, if you watched last week, which wasn't a podcast, you would know that Kris is in fact a horrible person and did not at all take his prescription, which was to be hit by a truck. And you can tell that because he is here and not splattered all over somewhere.
No, it would have been cleaned off by now, I assume.
You can never clean it all off.
No, yeah, fair point.
Anyway, welcome back to the channel. Welcome back to the podcast. This is the Unnamed Podcast where we sit here for a time, anytime, and talk rubbish. Mainly rubbish, but also sometimes not rubbish. We'll start things off as we often do with some channel news. Yeah. Kris, take it away.
Oh, we have another subscriber. Thank you very much.
S69. Nice.
Yeah. Other than that, Red Dead came out. Red Dead 2.
Red Dead Redemption 2, the first part of the tutorial. The second part of the tutorial will be coming out in the next couple of weeks. Pretty much the goal there is we're going to go into Red Dead and we're going to go and have a lot of fun. Obviously, me and Kris talk about it all the time, but whenever I'm given the opportunity to do any kind of character creation type stuff, it becomes a very absorbing part of the gameplay for me.
Oh, yeah.
When I finish editing the GTA, you'll see that I do the same thing there for my character.
Of course.
So, yeah, once we get through this tutorial for Red Dead, and we're actually allowed to explore the open world, it's going to become quite long. As I do things like make my guns nice.
Of course.
Make my outfits nice. Get the right beard and hat combination.
Of course. If you don't, you're stupid.
Exactly. Yeah. And I'm not stupid. So these first two episodes we're kind of just doing the story the way we have to. Yeah. Then after that, off to make money so that I can look like a Superfly Johnson.
It was Deep Rock Galactic today.
Yep, episode 1
first installment of that one.
Basically, we've played a lot of games recently.
Yes. We finally got into that ballpark of playing more.
Yeah. So basically, we played some Deep Rock Galactic a little while ago. Filmed it, I edited it, and that's like the first video. There's a second video. They were done at the same time, so they're pretty much very similar. But we're just exploring more games. Anything else, Kris? Anything else you can think of? Channel news.
We are planning on doing quite a bit.
We have a big day ahead of us. Lots of filming.
Big day. Looking at starting our Minecraft finally.
That's not going to happen.
That's not happening? Okay.
That's not happening today.
That's what he told me we was going to do.
No, I haven't really decided what I want to do with, how I want to start that yet. So I'm just putting that off till probably next week sometime.
Okay, fair enough.
Just because I kind of need to. I haven't actually been into the server world yet, so I don't know what it's like. And so I haven't really figured out anything. So
fair enough.
I figure I'll think about that and then we'll jump on that next week. But we do have a lot of stuff we want to do. So quite obviously there's
starting new series.
Yep. So we've been playing the Raft, and that's been going really well for us. We enjoy playing it. We want to play more. We'll probably do some of that today. Yep. But there are other games similar to that we also enjoy. And if I'm being honest, there's some of our better videos.
I'd say so.
Like videos where we work together, but can be mean to each other. And when I say mean to each other, videos where we work together but I can be mean to you are some of our best videos. And I think Satisfactory is going to be really like that because we see it in the Raft, like in what's it called? Helldivers.
Yeah.
Helldivers, we're working together but we're not really mean to each other.
But now that we're slightly better, we could.
We could be. But the goal is to work together to achieve a goal. Right? And so we've got to be supportive.
That's not what I did to Nick the other day.
Yeah, but you're a dick.
I blew his brains out.
Well, to be fair, you did that to me as well.
That was an accident. What I did to Nick was
You pointed a gun directly at me and pulled the trigger.
No. I was aiming at something else. You happened to walk in the area.
I didn't move.
I must have moved there. Either way.
Just like did you watch the Helldivers video?
Not yet, no.
There's a part in the Have I put out the Helldivers? Okay, no, yeah, I did.
You did, yeah.
Everything's a blur. There's a part in the Helldivers video where Kris literally goes, "Why did you shoot me?" And I said, "I never moved," because I'm sitting there with a heavy machine gun. And you're like, "No, I didn't move." And then but as you say that, I'm like, I remember you saying that to me afterwards, and I was like, I'm fairly sure Kris moved. And I'm looking through that,
Probably
and you're like,
did.
"Why did you shoot me?" As you cross my screen.
That sounds about right.
So you blame everyone for moving.
No,
you.
see, whereas with Nick the other day, what I did is I was like, oh my god, a bug, and then just shot him in the head with an anti-matter rifle.
Oh, wow.
So I just blew up his head.
You're just a dick.
And then we all forgot to just revive him for about 5 minutes.
See, but again, this is one of those situations where it's we'll play a lot more Helldivers because it is very fun.
It is.
And as we're getting better, it's getting more. We can do harder missions, which means we're going against better stuff, and it's kind of more entertaining.
Oh yeah.
But when I'm playing Helldivers, one of the things I often do is call aerial strikes directly on where I'm standing, because I'm
Which is a fucking horrible idea.
Because it's like, oh god, there's a whole bunch of bugs running towards me. And I'm like, okay, now I gotta, and then all the bullets start flying down, and the bugs are dying, but I'm just like, oh no.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But yeah, so that kind of stuff happens. We stuff like Helldivers, Gears of War, and Halo will be more working as a team and just playing the games, having fun.
Yeah.
But the goal there is teamwork to achieve what we need to achieve.
Oh yeah, 100%.
In Halo and Gears of War, it'll be missions. In things like Helldivers, it'll also be missions, but not campaign missions, like jobs.
Well, that's pretty much what Helldivers is anyway. But
yeah, it's like tiny little campaign.
All the automatons are
back.
Yeah,
I want to talk to you about that, but we'll discuss that later because
right.
that kind of comes into some of the stuff I want to talk about.
All right.
But yeah, things like the room, we will finish. We intend to finish the room, so we'll probably do a little bit of recording of that later today. But I have said to Kris, I refuse to play the room 4 anymore unless I'm drunk or drinking.
Yes.
Because that game just
it's a lot of back and forth and it's tedious.
I don't exactly. That's it. You hit the nail on the head.
Tedious.
It's tedious. I love puzzle games.
Oh yeah, but that one just
mainly because
the first two are pretty good.
It's just my brain.
Well, I reckon the first two are pretty good. Third gets a little bit more I wouldn't call it tedious for the third one.
There's a little bit more back and forth,
but
the fourth one is just tedium.
It is because
it's like
it's a lot of back and forth.
Go here, do this. Ooh, then you got to come over here and do this, and it's like.
And you got to unlock this place so you can finish that place.
Yep. Tedium.
Yeah, it's a thing.
Tedium the game, if you will.
Yes.
But we will finish that. But as I said, I want to be drinking because I'm just not going to do that.
Yeah.
Also, like Dave the Diver, we'll do some more of that. We probably need to do some more Payday because I can't remember where we left off on that. But
I think I know.
we will come back and do more of this, especially considering.
I'm pretty sure we're in the club.
Yeah. Well, Payday's had a few updates since then, and a few more missions been added, so it's all getting a little bit bigger.
Yeah.
Which is kind of what I was waiting for to go back to it because I was kind of like, if you I played a lot of Payday 2, and that game is massive with so many options and so much to do.
It is, yes.
Whereas this one, it has a few missions. There are some in the Payday games where it's in Payday 2 at least, where it's oh, you're going to rob a little bank. And it's like, okay. Yeah. And it could be one of several little banks, but each one's slightly different. Whereas in the current one, it's we're going to do this bank heist or something. It's always the same.
Yeah.
Maybe a few little parts moved around the mission. So I was kind of waiting until it got a little bit bigger so that we could go in and really be oh, yep, okay, it's starting to get fun again. So there's that.
What else were we playing?
Yeah.
We talked about Satisfaction.
So yeah, pretty much because the Raft is a unique game where we are on the same team for all intents and purposes.
Yeah.
But we can act against each other subtly without.
Oh yeah.
And when I say subtly, it's not like we're actually working against each other. It's more just Kris does something because that's what he needs to do. Yet that fucks over what I've spent the last 20 minutes doing because he just doesn't know that I've been doing that. So he goes, I've done this. And it's like, what? And he's like, I used these materials to do this. And I'm like, but I've just spent 20 minutes making those materials to do this. And it's like, so, and that's kind of the same with Satisfactory, which is, like, we've played a lot of Satisfactory, so we'll be starting a new game, because our old one is
that one I don't think we tend to screw each other over as much.
No, but here's the thing, we don't screw each other over as much, but at the same time, because of my OCD, keep everything neat and tidy, and the fact that you're more of it looks like shit, but it works, it has a very unique thing where
I could make it look worse. I need you to understand.
I know.
I could.
But, so the way we play Satisfactory is kind of, it was kind of the first time in reality where we kind of switched roles. And you became the base builder, and I went off and did stuff. Which
is weird, because that's not how I play games.
It's how we play Satisfactory. And I think even if we start again, we'd both fall back into those roles.
I think so, because I find myself, I started trying to do things, and then I got to a point where I needed this, I needed that, I needed like 3 or 4 different things to be able to do what I wanted to do.
So you needed to build those things.
So I needed to keep building, at which point, because I was building the stuff that you needed as well, I was like, oh, well, I'll just go explore while you do that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's kind of what we did. Plus, the whole thing was like, I would go out and find things because we needed a material, and it's like, and like, because I was really pushing, like, you were like, we need this to make this, to make this better. And I was like, I need this to make this new thing. So I was kind of pushing the envelope. So I needed the new materials, whereas you needed more of the old materials. So I was like, I had to go find stuff.
Because you had to find the new materials, but I needed the new materials, but it wasn't until like the next tier of things that I needed it. So it was,
and so that kind of happened. Yeah. But then I would come back and start screaming about everything being a mess.
No, the only thing that wasn't a mess was the power.
True.
I had that fairly neat. It wasn't until we started adding things onto that platform that it actually started becoming a mess.
True, but I also did make you make that platform, because originally you just had them sitting on the shore.
Yeah, because we only needed 2, but then at the time we only needed like 2 or 3, so it was like, that's fine.
So we do want to start Satisfactory, and we hope you will enjoy watching through that with us, because we are going to really love playing that game. So we'll be starting a new one probably today, depending, with the newest update out. And we'll see how that goes. Yeah. Hopefully well. But yeah, that is one of those games where I think we're going to do really well, because whilst we work together, I can get incredibly shouty at you.
Yes.
And I think that's kind of where we're at our best. So like, I think things where we're going to show our best are things like the raft, things like Satisfactory, things like Minecraft, where we can actually be menaces to each other without like, because like, it's all well and fun to stick a grenade to your back in Halo. Oh, yeah, however, that restarts my progress as well.
It does.
And it's like, ugh. And so I'm like, fucking you over hurts myself. Whereas like in a game like Satisfactory or the Raft, you getting killed by a shark doesn't fuck me over. All I have to do is come and rescue you, and then,
yes. But you're going to make a big deal about it.
And be a pain, and just have that small pain in the arse. And same with Satisfactory. You go out, you die. All we have to do is go find your stuff.
It's like, hey, I died by these 2 alphas. I'm gonna need help to get there.
Exactly. So I think that's another one where it's good. And just like like we enjoy doing like the watches and stuff. We enjoy doing like Helldivers. Sorry. Yeah. Helljumpers is ODSTs.
Yes.
And Payday, but like the thing is, we're very uber focused on getting the job done in those ones. Whereas like with more relaxed games, we can have that a little more relaxed. And I think it was literally the last episode of The Raft where I think we sat there for like 5 minutes and like, so how you been? How's your day been? And then you'd answer that, but like, how you been? And it's like, we can, because it's not so very driven and not so challenging, and it's like very much a very relaxing game, we can have that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it's the same with, obviously, Minecraft. Once we actually get the Minecraft going, I think our first thing is going to be building a small Minecraft village.
Of course,
yes. And then doing like challenges and stuff like that, and then maybe even one day moving on to do something like a Sky Factory, because I love the fuck out of Sky Factory, but maybe not a starter.
Whereas I did it. We've done it,
and I think that's why our Phasmophobias do so well, because again, it's kind of like we're working as a team, but
but we're also being menaces to each other.
Exactly.
At the same time,
we're not actually.
It's like I'm not
helping
gonna tell you when I grab those tarot cards.
Oh, no.
I'm gonna hide them so when I'm ready to start using them, hopefully I pull the card.
I'm
then
fairly sure one of our best videos was the one where I literally found the thing. I was like, "Oh, a doll." Nah, I'm dead.
it's the best thing. I did it to Jaden the other day.
Yeah.
I just started playing. We were playing it, and I found the doll. Didn't tell him, and it's like push. And the first one was pushed straight into the heart.
He does that.
At which point he immediately died, and I'm just pissing myself laughing.
But yeah, so like and then you of course like other videos that people love, Bunnyman, that generally gets a lot of views.
Yeah,
and that's literally menacing your teammates the game.
Yes, it is. Except for when we get like, well, actually, we can do that a lot more now. Because initially, when we first were doing it, we just kept playing until we were like, "That's it, we've got to stop."
Well, no, I think
there was a point.
I think we do it a lot less these days. Just
no, I feel like we
like in the first ones, it was like we were getting through like 6 or 7 levels in like 5 minutes. Whereas now it's like we get through 6 or 7% of a level in an hour.
Yeah, but it was that thing of like we like the last time we were playing, we were being menaces to each other while doing it.
There was a level of menacing.
Yes, whereas I think initially we did that a lot, and then got to a point of like, no, we're done. We've had enough of this. We've been going for 2 hours.
To be fair, like at the same time, it's
that's
also
when
like
we sort of stopped.
There's some menacing, but it's like the menacing comes when you just need to break from the monotony of doing the same thing over and over again.
Oh, true.
But there's also like the times, like in the very latest one, where I was literally just spinning around and wasn't paying attention to what I was doing and went straight into a bomb.
Oh, yeah.
And you were like, "What the fuck?" And I was like, "Sorry, I just totally stopped." I stopped thinking. Yeah. So like you get that. Then you get like the other videos that do really popular things like Mario Kart, where we are literally against each other. And games where we're literally against each other, I think, do really well as well because because the whole point of them is being mean to each other. Yeah,
but we do it well.
Yeah, it is hard to like. I would love to do more of that kind of stuff. Yeah, like I would love to one day do like get a bunch of our mates together and film some fucking Dead by Daylight or something like that. Yeah. Where it's just all of us, we're all on the mics, we're all having a good time, and we can literally be menaces to each other. But it is just very hard to set up in the current climate. Let's say it like that. Yeah. Like it's just hard sometimes to get those kind of things working. But one day that is the goal. Oh, and it would be absolutely wonderful if we could do that. And like the day we did that big Mario thing and actually offer people, like come and do some work for us. We'll chuck on beers and pizzas or shit like that.
That was a lot of fun. Yeah.
But again, that just takes a lot of time, a lot of planning.
It was a lot of fun.
And we're like trying.
I think we may have done that a little early. It didn't do as well as we hoped.
Again, though, we can always go back and watch it, and it was probably a very good learning experience for the both of us in terms of how to do something like that. Like, in all honesty, we don't have this. Like, I probably wouldn't do it again.
Not for a while, anyway.
Until October. No, but I would love to do it again for a thing. However, for me to do it again, I would want more filming stuff.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And just a slightly better setup overall.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah, like this that's kind of how it is. Like that was all done on one camera with, extensive work from myself and you to try and get that to work. So it was kind of like
that was the night before setting it up, trying to figure out
making sure
where everything was going to go.
And it was it was a very big task, but it was worth it. Yeah. Oh, yeah. The other thing is though, like as I said, like. You go, oh, perhaps we did that too early. No, because it's good to start messing around with that kind of stuff. It's like that. I've technically filmed a board game. I just have never done anything with the footage because I have no idea how to put it all together, and I haven't really figured it out. It was more of a test of concept type thing, and
technically we didn't get it all.
No, we didn't. Yeah, because that was
limitations of equipment.
That was a good indication of limitations of equipment and stuff like that, and like taking those things into account. And basically, there's a lot of stuff that we have to experiment with to be able to pull it off, and to be able to pull it off, we want to pull it off, but that is what it is. But yeah, so like we're gonna do a little bit more filming today. I've got a whole fucking list that we made at the pub the other night.
Yes.
Because I said to Kris, from now on, whenever we talk business at a pub.
Yeah, that was a thing.
But yeah, like we got some stuff here. Some of it involves a little bit more planning, so it won't be done today. But some of it should be able to knock out. We should be able to knock out a bit of it today. So hopefully.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Yeah, hopefully we'll be able to get some more. Well, we'll get some more videos done today. But,
for sure.
Hopefully it's good value stuff. Because like the other thing that I find as well is, and it's probably the hardest thing, especially for like the solo videos, is like if I'm like, I've got to do a solo because I need a video for this slot.
Yeah.
And I come down and I go, okay, let's film it. And it's like I start off really groggy because I'm tired or shit like that, And it's like, so like as we're filming, I get a little bit more enthusiastic about it. And it's like sometimes those are a little bit hard to kind of deal with because it's like, basically YouTube being YouTube, it's like if you're not in it at the start, people will leave. And then as you get more and more in it, especially with something longer. And we, like, that's kind of, I think we've said this multiple times now, but like, because a lot of our friends are like, if you really want to get big on YouTube, you got to have shorter form content. It's like, that's not really what I'm going for. Yeah. And that's never been like our goal. It's like, who wants to watch 10 minutes of game, like, of what we do?
You can't do it as gameplay. Like, we could do it in a situation if we
actually started with like the board games and like some of the card games that we've played.
Yeah.
You could do small little bits of those ones because the games only run like 10, 15 minutes.
Sometimes. But like at the same time, it's like my goal has never really been to get viral success on YouTube. It's always been about I like putting what I like putting on YouTube. I like putting gameplay where it's like substantial enough that you feel like you're actually getting your money's worth, if you will. Yeah. Or podcasts where we sit there and talk for God knows how long, and not like things that are like, okay, I've hit the 10-minute mark. Okay. That's going to get me the most viewership and make it the most amount of money. So that's all I'm doing. It's like, I just find it's such a kind of it's such a short time period. And you're just like, like it's almost for me like 10 minutes, especially like I think about my own watching habits. And I'm like, something that's 10 minutes because of the way I watch YouTube, which is a lot of the time just background noise. Yeah. You gotta sit there and you go like, oh yeah, I'm just getting into this. And it's like, it's over. It's like, oh, but hang on. I was just getting into that.
Yeah,
and it's like...
Well, I find that with the stuff I watch, if it's like 10 minutes, there is a lot of stuff cut out. Like
absolutely. And it's like it's like a best bits compilation or like makes me look good compilation.
Pretty much.
Whereas I prefer to like, if I want to put on gameplay, I want to put on the whole gameplay so you can see all the times I'm really clever, all the times I'm not that clever.
Oh yeah, you keep those. Like,
all the
times
times
that I think you would cut out if we were going to do anything like that is when it's just like a long distance of nothing happening. You're not really saying anything. You can cut that sort of stuff out.
That's kind of what's going to happen with this GTA is
even Red Dead to a degree as well.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Red Dead if it's like we're just riding a horse between missions, it's gone. Yeah. But like if it's like something interesting happens. Yeah, no, and that's the thing. And those games would kind of have that. But then there's like games like like Deep Rock Galactic, right? Yeah. And it's like cutting out parts of that is kind of like, well, wait, how did we get from here to here? And I don't really agree with that kind of mentality.
It's not even a long game with that one.
No, it's like like well, to be fair, I think we did an hour filming and got something like 2 30-minute episodes out of it. Yeah. Or
something like
they're like 20, 28 minutes. It's like that's fine, but like then there's other things like Helldivers. Yeah, you could take out a lot of the walking around in Helldivers, like when you're just walking between things and nothing's really shooting at you.
Unless we play on Helldiver difficulty, in which case you just screwed the entire time.
Yeah, but like there's always parts where we go, oh, you could cut that out because it's not really anything happening. It's like but it's just part of the telling of what's happening. Do you know what I mean? It's kind of like there's a mentality I think that a lot of people have, which is, oh, you can cut out that because it's unimportant. It's like, it's unimportant in terms of there's not something happening 24/7.
Oh yeah, yeah,
you know, 24/7. However, in the continuity of the story, and like that's kind of what I see it as when we're playing games, right? Whether or not we kind of are telling a story. Like, it would be super easy to like cut out the middle fucking lap 2 of a Mario Kart race. But why would you? It's part of the story. Well, you know, maybe nothing really happens. Like, but why would you? It was we're jumping from lap 1 to lap 3. But there are people that do that kind of stuff where it's like, here's the start, here's the end, here's the start, here's the end, here's the important parts. And it's like, part of any kind of journey is everything you do along the way is important.
Yeah.
And that's why even like with the Spyros and stuff, if there's stuff that's, I think in the latest one I've done that hasn't come out yet, there is a bit where it's cut out. But it's cut out because all it is me searching for something. And I spend, it took me about 20 minutes to find this thing because I had no idea where I was looking for.
So you cut out until you find it.
So I cut out a bunch of time before and after, like in between me looking for it. That where nothing was really happening and it was kind of dull and like I wasn't even being entertaining for the camera. I was just literally being like, where the fuck is this thing?
And that's understandable.
And it's like, that gets cut out because it's not like it's part of the mission. But I wouldn't like cut out a chunk of stuff where I was actually doing stuff like running around collecting gems and all that kind of stuff because it's like that's part of it.
Oh yeah.
And it's like, so yes, things where I've like, if I'm going back and I just have to go to a point at the end of the level, I might cut out a chunk of that level.
Yeah.
Or I might speed it up, and that's what I tend to do a lot of the time with games like that. Is like just double time it so that you can just be like, oh yeah, he's just gone back. But it's something just very fundamentally me that I'm just like, I like to tell the story. I like people to be able to follow the story.
No, it's understandable.
And
like even going ahead with like
and again, as I said, like I also think about my own watching habits, and I think this is the truth about a lot of YouTube watching habits is that it's kind of, YouTube is kind of like TV now, where it's like you turn the TV on, and you don't sit there watching it like what's happening next. You kind of sit there and you do other stuff, and every now and then, you know, something funny will happen and you skip back to it. It's like YouTube even has a function in it. I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but like when you start scrolling through the fucking wheel, it shows you the parts where people skip to the most.
Yeah.
And it's like, it shows you that and you go, oh, I wonder what happened here. It's like, oh, that's the funny part. And you like, then you see a whole flat section and you go, oh, okay, so nothing's really happening. And again, it's just, I think YouTube has become the substitute for TV in the sense that people just put it on so that they have something to accompany them doing stuff. Because if, I know I am at least, and I know a lot of people like me, you can't really work in dead silence. It's super hard. So people are like, I just put on music, and it's like, yeah, I like putting on music, but sometimes you want something that's...
Sometimes you need something different.
Yeah. You know, and I think that's
music's good, but like, I find that even with music, I get bored after a certain point.
Well, I find with music, I just sing along to it, and then I get nothing done because I'm singing along to it.
Yeah, it's like when I'm just like putting music on as like something in the background, it's actually when we're playing games half the time. Because as much as there's the game sound and all that sort of stuff, it's like sometimes it's still pretty quiet.
Yeah.
But there's still enough happening in the game. The music in the background's quite good.
Yeah. So, but you know, like this is kind of like my whole thing. Anyway, I guess the long point is that like a lot of people are like, oh, you got to make shorter videos. And I'm like, I don't really want to make shorter videos.
No,
I
wouldn't really.
I'm like, half an hour is my aim for goal. Between that half hour and an hour point.
And at the very least 20 minutes.
20 minutes is the lowest I'll go for. But I'm like, the only reason I've ever put out anything that's like 20 minutes is because that's what we have. You know, like.
Well, even there's some games that it's like 20 minutes is a lot of stuff's happened in that 20 minutes.
Well,
so it
like,
still makes sense.
So I'll use the example of the Deep Rock Galactic that came out because that's like just like 32 minutes. It barely meets the minimum of what I would normally put out. And like, if you take out all of the extra stuff and then just have the gameplay, it's like down to like 20 odd minutes, 28 minutes or something like that.
Yeah, okay.
Like when you just have mission to mission, like start the mission to end of the mission, something like 28 minutes or something like that. Yeah. And the reasoning that I was, and but I wouldn't go like, I'm like, oh, I like my videos to be half an hour. Or I wouldn't add the second video because I'm like, there's no reason to have both of those missions back to back.
No.
I can make 2 videos out of that. That way, you know, 1, we're getting more, but 2, it's also like you're not getting overloaded with it.
No, yeah.
I would probably never do like a Helldivers mission as a single episode because that could be like 12 minutes. And
Could be 12 minutes.
That's
could be
a
half
little
an hour.
bit too short.
Helldivers is a bit different. Like, it's one of those things. Like,
but I also wouldn't go like,
definitely
I
say-
also cut. Basically, when I'm cutting, I'm like, where is the spot to end this? Now, for a lot of games, it's like ended at the mission. So, bang, that's the logical ending point. And it's like, that's what I've got. So, like, if it's 12 minutes, it's like, I need multiple of these. But if it's like 28 minutes, it's like, okay, well, I'm not going to take another 2 minutes of something else just to get it to 30 minutes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, see, another thing that, like, with Helldivers, what I was doing the other day with Nick and a couple of other friends.
That's a lie.
A couple of other people. They were Nick's friends.
Hey, I continue.
Because Nick put it on Helldiver difficulty, it was actually very difficult, and it was non-stop stuff happening.
Oh yeah.
And we went for like the full length, almost the full length of the mission. So that you could literally set aside as one Helldivers mission being one video because of just how how ridiculous it was.
Basically, again, a lot of this is Kris just being an idiot because he doesn't know. But you don't. But like the whole thing is like everything kind of has a flow to it, and you can feel that flow as you.
No.
And it's like so like there are games where it's like I can cut this out; it's not going to affect anything. It's just the tedium.
Oh yeah, I know that.
But then there are games where it's like if you cut out the tedium, you're actually missing something because it's like you can't be like, oh, there was this one important thing that happened throughout all that tedium. So like for a game like Red Dead, as Kris said, you can cut out a lot of just the basic travel when nothing's happening.
Yeah.
But if something does happen, you can just insert that. You can cut out what happened before and and no one's going to be super confused by it. Just be like you ride off onto a horse and start riding, and then you come to the next thing that fucking happens, and you bring it back.
It's pretty strange.
And again, Helldivers can be the same, you know, especially like if you're literally just, oh, there's one little bug holdout or automaton base right on the other side of the map away from everything. So we run over there, we blow it up, and then we've got to walk back towards everything. So you can cut those types of things.
Yeah, I know that. Yeah, you can cut that
But basically, there are other things where it's like, if you cut out some of the tedium, like a great example would be the room. I have never really cut anything out of the room because that's kind of the point of the room.
Well, it kind of shows the thought process as well.
It shows the thought process. So instead of just having something where it looks like, oh, we've done this perfectly because we went, oh, we need a part here, bang, cut to the point where we find the part. It shows you the fact that we're flicking through everything and being incredibly dumb and stupid and maybe missing stuff. Like, I don't know if like you guys notice this, but when I'm editing the videos, I'll be watching us do something and I'm like, oh, there's that thing that we need, and then it takes us another 50, 60 minutes to actually finish out what we're doing. And it's like, holy shit, we're stupid. And the thing is though, like when you're watching it back, when you're watching something, you can watch the whole screen, but like the classic example is for me Spyro. Like when I'm watching back my edits of Spyro, it's like I'll be like, oh, I've missed a gem somewhere, and then like as I'm watching back the thing, I see the gem sitting in the corner of the screen somewhere, and it's like I've just walked past it, and it's like people go like, oh, how could you walk past it? And it's like because the thing is like when you're playing a game and you're focusing on like so many different things happening all at once, and like be it jumping and platforming and all this kind of stuff, it's like it's very easy to miss the fact that you saw a glint out on the edge of the screen.
Oh, it's super easy because it's a whole different thing. It's more, well, I don't want to say intensive, but there's.
But like it is a thing. It's like like in a lot of games
when
like,
you're watching,
you
don't have that pressure. To do anything. So when you're watching,
well, you just have you are just observing. You're not.
Yeah, you don't have to focus on the actual controls and I'll try to go over there this time, and you don't have to.
But like that again, but like that's something that I've like I play. Like, I used to play Battlefield 4 all the fucking time because it's a great game, and same with Battlefield 1.
Yeah.
And like I used to play those as a sniper specifically because I am generally super attentive. But the thing is, like, in those situations, I can be super attentive because I just, like, place my character down and then just stare at the screen. It's like I am just watching the screen, looking for any kind of movement, zoom in and shoot. And that's kind of the thing, and I've always done that. And my friends have always been like, wait, how did you even see that? It's like, because I'm just observing. Yeah. I'm not worried about, like, you play a lot of games, COD comes to mind, but it's like, it's impossible to be a sniper in COD because you've always got to be watching out for the person who comes sprinting around the corner.
Yeah.
Whereas there are other games where it's like, you can just find a nice quiet spot, lie down, and be a sniper. Observe everything and then be like, that's someone I got to shoot.
Yeah.
And it's the same with pretty much any game. Like, whilst you're 100% there interacting with it, you will miss so much stuff because you are there interacting. You're not just an observer watching it. But so like that's something I notice a lot when doing the edit. That like we miss things all the time. And it's like depending on how it goes. So like. Something like The Room, I could foresee cutting out a section if it's like we're looking for one thing in particular and we go through the entire house and we can't find it and we're going back and then it like turns out to be something simple. It's like you cut from the part where we're looking to the part where we've found it and then you just put in something like we spend a lot of time being dumb. But a lot of the time it's like, especially with like puzzle games, it's like you go, I'm going to go do this and then you find another puzzle and you work on it and then that does something in that and it kind of tangents you. It's like, that's the type of stuff where it's like, you don't want to do that. Or when you are just spending some time being like, okay, well, I've done this, I've checked on this, I've done this, I've checked that, I've done, like running through the mental list, not only to show everyone watching that we have actually done it, we're not just being dumb and being like, because that's something that people often say. It's like, you don't understand, we just never filmed doing that part, but we did do this thing. It's like, why didn't you film it? Yeah. You could solve all the problems if you would just, of people being like, you idiot, you should have done this. And it's like, no, we did do that though. It's like, yeah, but if you had just shown it instead of just...
Like, they wouldn't have to, like, to stand up and say, oh, you didn't do this.
And so that's where a lot of that kind of stuff comes from.
Yeah.
But anyway, that's just kind of where we are. Some of our ideas we're having. As I always say though, we are open to pretty much any ideas because we have games that we really enjoy playing. Then we have games that we enjoy playing that we're just like, we don't know how to kind of do filming on it.
Yeah, to record it.
Because it's kind of like what
to get the best out of it.
Yeah, it's kind of like because video games being video games, they are better played than watched. And it's like some games are incredibly fun to play, but incredibly boring to watch.
Yeah,
kind of like cricket, except that's boring on both ends of the spectrum.
I know, right?
But yeah, so it's like, fuck, I love playing, like, I played so much Baldur's Gate, but I would never really film Baldur's Gate because I don't think it's all that entertaining to watch.
Yeah.
Someone just kind of wander around and explore. It's like, cool, but like, wouldn't you rather be wandering around and exploring? And then people are like, well, you could just like film the main story, and it's like, okay, but then I don't want to do it because I'm just speed running the main story.
Yeah, no, you want to sort of...
So
you want those tangents.
Yeah, and so like there are some games like, so that's kind of where I was with Red Dead Redemption 2 for a while. Then I was like, I want to play it, and it has those collectibles in it, and it has like achievements and stuff in it. And I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's go for some of these things. So it's like, we can start up a playthrough of Red Dead. We've gotten through the tedium part of just the opening now.
Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, I can go become a master hunter. I can go do this. I can go do that. I can hunt down the fucking vampire and, and have people along for the ride with me as I experience it, as opposed to just being like, here's the story of it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It's dull for both of us.
Yeah.
Or having like the other side of it, which is like, it's just a big open world with so much happening and you're just like, I don't really know what to do. It's like, having some goals because it's got its own inbuilt like little goal system. It's like we can do episodes based on achieving those goals.
Yeah.
Whereas like even though Baldur's Gate 3 does have a lot of quests and stuff in it, it's like some of them are super simple, some of them are super long, some of them are fun, some of them are quirky, some of them are weird. But it's like a lot of the time I'm just in that game, I'm just wandering around, visiting shops, selling stuff, going back to my camp, having a rest, doing magic, kind of, I would love to play it, but I just don't think it'd be the most entertaining thing.
Fair.
And it's that way for a lot of games that I play. I'm like, yeah, I love playing this game, but it doesn't make good viewing.
No, that's understandable.
Anyway, I think that's enough on that.
Yeah, that's a long...
in terms of channel news. Yeah, not all of that was exactly channel news. A lot of it was like going into explaining different things and different methods. But again, I guess the big takeaway there, guys, is if you're still with us, hello.
Yeah. Thank you.
If there is something you want to see, let us know because we can probably do it. Fuck, I probably already own it, and I just haven't thought of a way to do it. Or specifically in my case, I have so many options that some days I'm just like, what the fuck do I do?
Yeah.
And like, I know there are probably some spooky games out there that we could play.
Yeah, there's a few.
It's just that I don't really play a lot of those. Well, I do, but I don't, if you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. Whereas I play a few more of them.
Oh, I kind of like play them and it's like, oh yeah, that was fun. But I'm also like, I don't know, would you call it ADHD? I'm very...
I don't know on that one.
I'm very much like, I'll play something and it's like there's a few games we've played, like me and Kris have played Lethal Company. I still prefer Phasmophobia to Lethal Company because one, it's a little bit shorter the mission wise.
Yeah.
Two, I just find Lethal Company is like a really dull game. Like
Like it can be fun.
Yeah,
I will say it can be fun. And
look, there's been a few points where like
I've had fun playing it with like Nick and Jaden as well, because look, Nick and I teamed up in a game. It's something. It's like we don't.
It's not anything. Kris thinks he's crazy.
So,
he's not. He's just insane.
Exactly. No,
he's just the worst.
But we're also both insane. We also have this thing of like we have the same thought process when playing that.
That's
type
all. You
of game.
don't have any thought process.
We have the same actions in the same type of game.
Anyway, basically the point I'm having is like I have played games like Lethal Company and stuff, and it's like I had fun with them for a little bit.
Then you sort of put it down because
then I was just kind of like,
you get bored.
There's nothing else.
Yeah, you get bored of it quick.
Like the reason I love Phasmophobia is that it's short games. You go in, you know, even though like we play the same missions over and over again.
We do,
but there's different. Like it's the small changes and you know the goal oriented. Whereas like Lethal Company is like, oh, go into this map and find stuff. And like, don't get me wrong, like we had fun playing it. It was just kind of like I was sitting there going, okay, so we find something, we take it back to the ship. Now what? That's it. That's the gameplay loop. It's like, oh, that's boring as shit. It's like,
I mean,
quickly we found a monster and it's chasing us. Like, oh shit, quickly run! We got away from it. Sweet. Now what's the game? Right, find shit, take it back to the ship.
Oh yeah, the game is fine. Should take it back to the ship. The monsters, I haven't run into many monsters. I think I've run into 2, maybe 3.
Yes. The day we played, you ran into 2 monsters. And that's what I mean. Like,
and I think
that was the only exciting part.
I think I've ran into another 2 different ones in total. But there's more than that. And it's, if you know what they are, it changes how you play that particular round. But that's about it.
But yeah, and that's what I mean. Like, I just don't find it that enthralling.
That's fair.
Mind you, there are other games that I would like as I said, Dead by Daylight. I definitely want to do more of that. It's just again trying to get enough people all on the same thing to record it can be a bit of a pain.
Can be,
like to get a whole lobby of people, and then if you're not getting a whole lobby of people, hoping that you get a good lobby in a multiplayer match online is just a pain. Like
we just lucked out last time we played with getting a few of the killers that
were actually
one killer was actually hunting us properly, and then the other ones they didn't really do anything. One of them just
what they were doing, but he was charging at walls.
Yes, one of them was charging at walls. One of them was sort of just they'd run up to you, but they wouldn't actually do anything about you being there.
And just be like, hey,
you keep doing what you're doing.
Get off my generators. You're not getting off my generators? Well, I have no course of action because the police have taken away my murdering rights.
Pretty much.
Anyway, but yeah, so there's a lot of stuff we want to do, and like if you guys have any suggestions, like yeah, we'll do it. Like if you go, oh, have you tried playing this game doing this? Chances are I've got that game, but I've never thought of doing that. So fucking let us know. We'll do it. That's kind of the moral here. Let us know. We'll give it a go. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul.
That's pretty much it.
Although if it does harm Kris, bonus.
Yeah.
Anyway, moving right along. Kris, moving right along. Along we move. I've been playing chess recently.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Online. I enjoy it.
I used to play a little bit. Don't get me wrong. I was never good at
I'm
it.
very medium.
I don't even think I was that far into it. Like playing against a lot of, I could beat some people, but most people, no, I couldn't. I was not good.
I start off strong and then I get distracted.
I go by the tactics of, I don't know what I'm doing. Hopefully, you don't either.
I just, I've been having a good time playing online, getting my ass whooped, sometimes whooping asses, but
That's what you want.
I was just like, you know what, I want to do something, and I did, and I started playing chess, and it was good fun.
Oh, yeah, it is.
Yeah. Oh, actually, something else that I did recently. Actually, since it's like been 2 weeks since we've done the podcast, I've actually done some interesting stuff. I say interesting. It's more like weird stuff. I played a game of Risk against myself. Yeah. So basically what I did is I set up the Risk board, right?
Okay.
And then I just used the cards to randomly just put out all 5 armies.
Yeah.
And then I played each army to try and win. And I was very pleased with how that went. Because one of the hardest things you can do in life is play against yourself.
No, that is true, yes.
Because you're always slightly biased. You go like, this is my main side. So like if you're playing chess against yourself, you say like, I'm the white pieces. And I'm also the black pieces, or I'm mainly the white pieces. So you do dumb moves with the black pieces and go like, oh, that's an okay move. Like, yeah, it leaves me vulnerable, but that move's good enough. And then you go, why? You go, I took your piece. And it's like, hang on. So I was playing 5-player Risk solo. And basically my goal was that I wanted to see if it were possible for me to be objective about it. Like, could I actually do it without knowing who would win? And I was very pleased by that.
Because it does sound interesting.
I was kind of sitting there, and at points I'm like sitting there, and I'm like, oh, it looks like these guys are going to lose. But because I was like, as I sat there and played each color, I was like, what is the smartest move for this color right now? Yeah. Like, how, if I were this color against other people, what would my choices be? And it was very, very nerdy and lonely.
Yes.
Like people might say,
ignoring that part of it.
Ignoring that part of it. That part was so very sad. But I was very pleased because there were points where I was like, nope, this color's lost.
Yeah.
Like at one point I was sitting there and the black pieces started pretty much with Australia and South Africa, and then boom, wipe them out of Australia. Get out of here. And I was like, okay, now blue held it, and I was like, well, blue's got it. You know, blue's taken it. They can't lose. They're strong. They've got 2 very, and then. But I was like, as orange, you're sitting there going, they've got 2 sides of me either side. I've got to attack them and weaken them. And then orange took a strain. I was like, whoa, that's crazy. And all this time, I'm sitting there going like, oh, but black, they're going to be the first ones out. No, black actually came back, and they because I was just playing every color as smart as I could. As like, okay, I'm getting this many soldiers. I've got this threat. What do I do? And it was like, I wouldn't sit there and go like, oh, I could continue this invasion, but that would wipe that person out. I was sitting there going, can I continue this invasion? Yes. Okay, I'm going to continue this invasion. And then I'd like get there and be like, actually, I'm weak. Like if I was actually playing this against someone else, I've now left myself open and weak. So I'd stop attacks and do things like based on the fact of, am I keeping myself in the best position to win as this color? Yeah. So if I was yellow, I was like, I'll attack black, and I'll attack them, and then I'd be like, I'm down to 4 people, and I've got a line of 1s behind me. I can't push this attack anymore because this is the bulkhead, this is the strong, and there will be a counter attack. And so I did that, and like, okay, it took me like probably 3 to 4 hours.
Yeah, that'd make sense.
But in the end of it, I was really pleased because I would say for about 96% of that game, I played each color as smart as I could until it was just like, okay, this side, like, there's no defense against this. So now I have to start playing as vindictive as possible.
Yeah.
And so, like, I played each color the way that I would play them were I actually that color against other people. And I found that very, very interesting exercise. Just in terms of, like, one, I think if we played Risk with our group of friends, I would be unstoppable now because I've literally played from every position. From like winning really strong positions to having to come back from incredibly weak positions to so that was interesting. But also at the same time, I was just kind of like, wow. And like one of the things that I was like really proud of is the fact that I couldn't predict when a color was going to get wiped out because I was just like, this color should be wiped out. And it's like, well, no, because attacking them from this color leaves them weak to this color. It's like, so for this color, the strongest move is to not wipe them out. It's actually to leave them and be like, you're not a threat to me right now. I need to strengthen this border or do something like that. Yeah. And then there were times where I was like, oh, this side's obviously going to win. They just got this bonus. And then I'm like, however, if I was this side, I would help my I've been fighting that guy for ages, but now this guy is a threat. I'm like, so I have to kind of stop fighting that guy to deal with this threat. And I'm like, yeah, that's how I would play those.
So this is where split personality stopped.
It would be really helpful if I had
because if you notice, he was saying that guy a lot, and that guy was him the entire time.
Yes. But split personalities, I get lonely in long showers. But yeah, no. So that's something I did recently. Just because I really wanted to play a board game, and I was like, okay. And I've been playing a lot of strategy games, like on the PC.
Yeah.
And I was like, I wonder how I can apply this to a game that also has a massive amount of luck in it. Because Risk is like, I don't know how many people watching this have played Risk, but Risk is like the game where you're like, I have an army of 20 against your man, and it's like a single guy, and then you'll sit there and just watch as that person rolls 6 after 6 after 6 after 6, and you're just like, I have 3 guys left. That one little bastard in Afghan. So
you can really
give you guys like a long story short of mine. We used to play a lot of Risk back in college.
Yeah,
because it was a really quick game. Like you get 3 or 4 people together, you can knock it down in an hour. Unless one of those person was our friend Lena, who literally we used to put a 3-minute timer on his turns because he would get 3 people and be like, I don't know where to put him, and then he would spend like 45 minutes deciding where he's going to put them down. And he was like, just put them down, and then you're like, okay, you put them down. Now take your turn. I don't know what I'm going to do, and you're like, you've been having an hour-long turn. Please just let someone else go. Anyway.
Yeah, no, that's fair.
I digress. Yeah. But yeah, no, so we were playing this game of Risk. Yeah. And my mate had one person in Afghanistan. One person, I was like, I've got him. I took an army of 10. He wiped them all out. I was like, okay, fair enough. Next time, an army of 20. He wiped them all out. And I was just like, that little one fucker in Afghanistan. He is, like, I'm like, if he dies, the rest of the board is open up to me. But while he survives, I have to deal with it. He's
man,
he was the worst. It was just this one guy I could not kill. Like no matter how big an army I sent against him, it was like, and like he'd reinforce in his turns and like put like 3 or 4 there, and I'd like wipe them all out. Like, I'd bring an army of 20, just wipe out like
all by one,
two of his guys straight away, and I'd be like yes, and then I'd be like on the next one I'd wipe out one and be like haha, you're about to lose, and then it'd be like that one guy just fucking kept.
Did he make sure he kept the same piece there too? Just to taunt you?
Did because
oh yeah. I would have done the same just to taunt you because it's the way to play.
And I was like, okay, well that's how you play it. But yeah, so
if you don't know, if you're not taunting someone, you're not doing it right.
Exactly. But yeah, like that was kind of like the thing. And I was just like, it was a fun exercise for an evening. That I was just kind of like, well, I actually took 2 evenings because I started at like 10:30. But
fuck's sake.
Yeah, I had to go to the gym.
Oh yeah, okay, fair.
Oh, so technically I started at like 12 o'clock at night. But
well, yes.
But yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah, no, I get that.
But yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a...
Something else I was going... Oh, yeah, that... And then after I finished that game of Risk, I was like, I want to play Age of Empires 4.
Yes.
So I went to to the Xbox app on the PC because obviously it's free there.
I think I have it.
You would because it's free.
No, I think I've got it on Steam.
Oh, weird game to buy. Age of Empires 4. Also considering Age of Empires 3 was such a flop.
4?
I don't know. You're telling the story. Anyway, no, pretty much the story I want to tell about that is the fact that I went to install it and it was like 84 gig, and I went, how is any Age of Empires game 84 gigabits?
No, actually, yeah, no, it's ridiculous how big it is.
Oh, it's just kind of like, are you what?
No, it's not 4 that I have. Never mind.
Oh, you weirdo. Weird game. But I was like, I'm like fucking Hogwarts Legacy, mate. That's not 84 gigabits.
No, it's
Baldur's
not.
Gate 3, not 84 gigabits. How the fuck is an Age of Empires game? The first one, which you can fit the first and second game, originals obviously, not the new fandangled ones,
Yes.
on a 2 gigabyte USB stick
Yes, you could.
with Age of Mythology.
Yeah.
The Titans expansion, not the new one that has the Chinese ones, but
Yeah,
the original Age of Mythology Titans expansion. All three of them on a 2 gigabyte stick, and you're like, haha. No, I've done it.
No, I'm not doubting that. I'm not doubting.
Don't question. I've done it.
I'm not questioning that.
No, lost that USB stick, and I went, oh shit.
You dumbass.
Someone just got 3 very good games.
Yes.
And a very good expansion.
You haven't got back yet. Or whatever.
Doesn't really matter, because I now have them on Steam.
Well, yes. I think I've got 2 and 3 on Steam.
I have 3 in Age of Mythology, which is by far the best Age of game.
Okay. That sounds like a really good one.
Oh, it's great. It's my favorite. I played so much of it. I haven't played it recently because
I haven't played it in about 2 years.
my problem with Age of Mythology, and maybe I need to go back and have a look at it again, but I really hate the story. But the starting missions of everyone is like the tutorial. Or this is how you play it. And I'm like, I don't even know how to play it. Okay, I'm a fucking adult. I can do it. Just let me do it. And then I get like 3 missions in. I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing.
Shows on the tutorial.
Oh god, help me, someone, help me.
Why do I keep doing this to myself?
But also because my screens are now so much bigger and not squares, I feel like that doesn't help the old school graphics.
No, that would actually.
But yeah, Age of Empires 4. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna play this. It looks good. Look at it. It's sharp. Nice little miniature. 84 gigabits. 84 gigabits.
Fucking lot.
Jeez, let me just. I got Steam open here on the
just
other
double
thing.
check it.
No, it's not on Steam. I'm telling you, it's 84 gigabits.
What are you checking?
I'm gonna come down to the newest Star Wars game that I own,
which is
Star Wars Jedi Survivor.
Ah, yes.
I'm gonna click on that.
I
It's
still
gonna
haven't played that.
pop up. It's gonna say how many gigabits it is. It is 130 gigabits. This is a story, campaign, Jedi, space adventure game with space adventure Jedis.
And
boss
really
fights.
good graphics.
Very good graphics and lightsabers. It is 130.
And not just little people running around.
It is 50 gigabytes bigger than
Yeah.
Age of Empires. Now, let's okay, because I did say I have it up here.
Yes.
Do.
It's a long list, by the way.
Age of Empires 3.
How many's in that list?
Oh, too many. 205.
5.13 gigabits.
5. The game that literally came. It's over. Oh shit! It's over 16 times larger than it.
Yeah.
Age of Mythology, not just the special edition, the extended edition. It doesn't say.
That doesn't say. If you scroll
Well, I
down
can
on the
probably-
store, you go to store page. You can find it.
So demanding.
Yeah, go. Scroll the fuck down.
No, now you fucked it. You fucked it.
Scroll.
Wait, there it is. It's back.
Whoa.
She's up. I don't.
Keep scrolling.
Oh, she's so demanding.
A little further. Almost there.
Oh,
Just about.
you make me sad.
No, I was trying to. Little bit. There you go. Should be in there somewhere, shouldn't it?
The system requirements.
Storage. Recommended storage is 5 gig. 3 gig is the minimum.
Yep. And that's the new expansion extended edition one.
Yeah, but that also came out 10 years ago.
Yeah, well, Age of Mythology came out when I was still a small child. Okay?
Yes, I'm aware.
Calm your farm. But yeah, I'm just like, how the fuck can this game be so fucking big?
No, I don't know.
What is it? Call of Duty?
No. A lot of the stuff happens off screen.
A lot of
no. On Age of Empires, what you're doing, most of it's happening on screen.
Oh yeah.
Most there's a shit ton of stuff happening off screen.
I know.
It's there.
It's befuddling. It's confusing. It makes no sense.
No,
Anyway.
I agree.
Anyhow, you know.
Yeah.
I can't wrap my brains around it. It's just insane. It's insane.
It really is. Which makes sense.
And all I want to do is play a little bit of Age of Empires 4.
Have you played it yet?
No, because I don't want to install 100. I don't want to install 100 gig of game just to be like. It's like Age of Empires 1 only, without the cheats.
And looking slightly better.
Yeah. Well,
Well, better on a big screen.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
You would hope. One would hope.
You would.
One.
I'd hope so.
God, if it looked as bad as as old school Age of Empires, you'd be pissed off.
Especially with 84 gig.
Yeah. I think that's where people get most angry at games these days. Is it, where people are like, this game cost $130. I'm like, again, like $130. It's getting a bit ridiculous for prices of games now.
It is. 100% is.
Let's come on everyone, calm your farms. Especially considering it's like, hey, it's $130, but then we're gonna add all this DLC into it. Fuck you.
Just give me the DLC. Go away.
Yeah. You just cut parts of the game out, you dumb.
That's all they fucking did. Yes.
Anyway. No, but I think a lot of people are just getting annoyed with the size of games now. Because it's like, it's like, this game's only like 200 gig. It's like, Sony, this is a game you made. This is the console you made to play it on. Yep. This game takes 200 gig, yeah? This console has 500 gig.
And I can't even use 500 because of all the software you put on it. So you've really only got 400 and... like 440 or something like that?
I can have a game in a quarter.
Yeah, that's pretty much what you...
Well, like,
you can install that game twice. There's no point in doing it, but if you do, you're stupid. But you could.
But you know what I'm saying? It's like... They're just the game developers are like, oh yeah, but we're just ignoring the fact that your space is limited. It's like, why is that what you're ignoring?
That's not what we want ignored.
It's like, oh, but we can't make the game smaller. And it's like, with some things, like Call of Duty, yeah, you can. You really can.
You really can. People enjoy the original games more than the newer ones. And guess what? They're nowhere near as big.
But they're like, oh, but it needs to be 600 gigabytes in size. Why? Because of all the stuff we've added that you can't remove, like Warzone, and all the shops for Warzone, and all the shit for Warzone, and the fact that you have to install fucking all the Warzone stuff. It's like, well, can I just not have that? No, because that's where we make our money from, Warzone. Right. But I don't want to play Warzone. Well, you can't get rid of it. Have you decided you could uninstall the rest of the game? And then you uninstall the rest of the game. It's like, okay, campaign? Yeah, that's like 30 gig. It's like, well, that's the part I wanted. It's like, but can I just have that there? No. You can uninstall that 30 gig part. Multiplayer? Like 28 gig. It's like, well, I also wanted that part. I could have had 58 gig and fucking had the parts I want. Instead, I've got 200 gig for Warzone. And I don't want that.
No.
I don't want Warzone. But they're like, no. You can't uninstall that part. Yes, it's almost, 150 gig by itself. But you're not allowed to get rid of it.
Yes.
But get rid of all the other stuff. It's like, but that's the stuff I paid for. That's the stuff I want.
Yeah.
That's the stuff I bought. Yeah, but have you considered Warzone?
No.
That's why
but you should. No.
That's literally why I didn't buy Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Even though I fucking loved Modern Warfare 1. Enjoyed Modern Warfare 2's story.
Yes.
And multiplayer.
Screw 3.
And 3, I was just like, are you fucking kidding?
They're just releasing one a year for the sake of releasing one a year.
Oh, at that point, that was like, from everything I heard, that was DLC.
Yeah, that's everything I heard as well.
And then they were like, no, we can make it a video.
Yes.
Anyway, let's talk about Helldivers.
Yeah.
A bit. Well, not quickly. We'll talk about it a bit.
Yeah.
This is a long podcast because there wasn't one last week. You're welcome. Kris also apologizes. Actually, can I tell you looked really good last week.
Did I?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Absentee is a good look for you.
Just my little the little character.
Yeah, just not here. Not here. It's a very good look for you. You should try it more often.
Oh. I want them to suffer. I mean, no. I don't want you suffering.
Kris just sitting there being like, you know what? I hear not being around makes me look better.
So I'll be here.
Katie would kick the shit out of me for saying that.
Yeah, she would. Yeah.
That's just in case you're wondering. Arcadia is one of our friends' girlfriends, and she gets really mad at me whenever I'm mean to Kris, even though that's my default setting.
Yes.
And last time we were hanging out, she got really snappy at me because I was being very funny. So yeah, I was being very funny, and Kris was taking a lot of the heat. But yeah, Arcadia got very annoyed with me.
She did.
She's like, "Can't say that again." I was like, "I can, because I just did."
I just did.
And
he was laughing at it too.
I can't even remember half the stuff, but I remember I definitely remember something about her being like, "Oh, Kris, you're a handsome guy," and I'm like, "You don't have to lie." Something shit like that, and she's just like,
Yeah. It was
I
fun.
was in fine form.
It
It's
was
kind of like on Sunday. This Sunday, our mate Jordan was like, "Hey, Jordan." Anyway, he was like, "Hey, you want to come to the pub with me?" They got free pool, so we went to the pub, and oh man, I was sober, very sober,
Yes.
but I was also in fine form.
Yes. So this I was targeting everyone.
Oh yeah, I was just boom, boom, boom. Sunday I was just like I was on machine gun mode, just mowing down everyone around me.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
It was great. I was having a great time, excellent time, wonderful time. It's always fun.
Decent amount was aimed at Connor for that one.
That was because Connor deserved.
He's so fucking drunk.
But yeah, no. Anyway, so that aside, just because one, it was fun to make fun of Kris, and two, Arcadia really doesn't like it when I make fun. Even though, well, she also doesn't like it when I make fun of her. But again, she once spent a large amount of time telling me to consider trenching, which is akin, as I said, to saying, "Hey, have you thought about suicide?"
At which point actually, it was another thing I said the other night as I reminded her about the drenching.
Anyway, the point is that Kris, absentee is a good look for you. Helldivers.
Yeah.
So last time we were playing Helldivers, which wasn't on video, it was just me and Kris in our spare time. I was like, I wonder what's going to happen because we were playing right near, like there was like 3 or 4 sections for each enemy at that point.
Yeah, last time I played, there was still about 4 sections for the bugs.
Yeah, that's down to
The automatons were down to nothing. There was nothing left.
Yeah, and I was like, I wonder what's going to happen. I wonder if they're just going to.
Well, I heard they're actually bringing in a new
race.
A new race.
There is a third race
Yes.
called the Illuminati.
Yes.
But that's from the first game.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So they're not really bringing them in. They're just bringing them into the second game.
Yeah.
They already exist within that. Anyway, the point was, I was sitting there wondering, I'm like, what's going to happen? I hope it's something really, like thematic. Like I hope they don't just go like, "Oh, it's a reset. You've cleaned everything, so a reset." And so I'm actually kind of super happy to read. Like it's like, oh yeah. So it turns out like they're coming back stronger, and there's like a whole fleet, and I'm like, holy fuck, that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
I would love to see some kind of like fleet battle shit, but it's unlikely to happen.
Yeah.
Just because of the way the game works. But I'd love to do some space battle shit where it's like
That would be good.
in a spaceship getting exploded by them in a spaceship. But I also kind of said that like I haven't played on the hardest difficulties, but like
God, they're screwed, man.
well, but that's kind of the point, I think, because like
Oh, it is.
honestly, I think Helldivers difficulty, which is the
So
hardest.
you know how like the biggest bug we were dealing with was like the spewer or the nothing.
Yeah, I know.
Have you seen the Titans?
Yeah, they can. Once you like, if you kill them, they can still kill you by just falling on top of you.
Yes.
So,
Yeah. No, what had happened is as I was running away, like not running away, I pretty much killed
he
most
was
of.
running away.
We pretty much killed most of the stuff that was there. So we were running over to catch up to one of the other guys, And I turn around for a second because I heard something behind me. As I see a shit ton, like 4 chargers, 3 titans, an army of the smaller ones, which are an easy one to kill, but it was just like an army of them. And I'm like, yep, God, keep running.
That's why you need your airstrikes.
I didn't have time to start an airstrike because by the time if I had stopped, Charger would have killed me.
You gotta be faster, man. You just gotta.
Oh no, it doesn't matter. It's like the moment I go to press it, dead. So I literally, the only thing I can do is run to get Nick to actually kill a bunch of the stuff that was behind me, so that I could actually call it.
But that is like that's part of the reason why why you get the options for more stuff.
Yes.
But no, as I said, like that difficulty probably makes the game where it should be. In terms of like
difficulty,
but
you get like 20 respawns in that one.
Yeah, but as I said, like the problem I have with games like Helldivers, and which I'm really glad they haven't, is like it's hard to explain, but it's kind of like the Dark Souls thing of, I don't know if you've ever heard the thought process with Dark Souls, where it's like, morally, are the Dark Souls bosses winning? Because even though the players beat them, it's like a player might die 60 times to a boss, but they only need to beat them once.
Yeah.
And that's the one that counts.
It is,
And it's like, so morally, the Dark Soul bosses are winning because they've killed you so much more, but yours is the one that counts. When you beat them, it counts. And it's the same with Helldivers. It's like, because you're the players, your wins are what counts, not so much your losses. And it's like, but the losses need to
Well, actually, your wins can also do nothing.
It's not entirely true.
Well, you can have no contribution to the liberation of the planet.
So it always starts with at least 1. And one is like 0.000 something %, and then it ticks down to 0.
Yes.
It gets added. So you always have some contribution.
Okay.
But I don't know, because I've never actually failed a mission, because I've never done anything super heavy hard. But
it's difficult.
Does failing a mission reduce, is my question.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I'd have to double check.
Because that's the side where I think about, like, on that thing where it's like, in a game like this where it's all about like liberating the space, the galaxy, it's like, it's all well and good to say like, oh, when you win you liberate, but it's like, you gotta have it like for when you lose. And like, sure, that's gonna discourage a certain type of gamer from doing the harder missions.
Yeah.
Because they're like, oh no, but I'll only do easy ones with all of my top gear because that way I always win. But it's also at the same time, it's like it kind of like shows that, like, it shows that like you're not always just plowing forwards. You know what I mean? Whereas like
you can have that setback,
and because all of the players are on the same side, I think that's the big hard point. Like, all the players are on the same side. We're all Helldivers, so you don't have a bunch of players playing like for the automatrons who are like, okay, we're going to take back this planet, and then they start invading, and then you're like, oh no, we've got to. No, it's everyone's working for the same side, so it's like you don't have that thing of like rebalancing. So it's like, we're always going to win.
Yeah.
And so I was always worried that it'd be like, we're always going to win, and then they'd just be like, oh, reset, and then we just reset to the status quo, and it'd be like, you got Super Earth, and you got to work your way back out to where we were. But I kind of like the way they've done it, where it's like, oh no, it turns out there's a massive fleet coming from unknown space or whatever.
And they're starting to take over again.
Yeah, and I would love to see some like missions like that where it's like actually impossible to win because like as you start, it's like, explodes you to fucking shit.
That would be awesome.
And you're just like, oh shit, and you're like,
so you wouldn't get it with the bugs.
You could though.
How would you do it with the bugs? They wouldn't come in a fleet though.
They might. You don't know. You ever seen 40k? What I was gonna say is, you never seen the Tyranids? Basically.
I haven't really seen anything from the 40k.
It's pretty cool stuff. Yeah. You should check out some 40k stuff. When Space Marine 2 drops, we'll be playing 40k.
Yeah, okay, fair enough,
Bet on it. High School Musical 3. Still great. The Tyranids are pretty much like, they have giant bugs which pretty much travel through space.
Yeah, okay, fair enough then.
Well, they're not really bugs, they're Tyranids, which are aliens. So they have giant Tyranids that travel through space.
Okay,
so they could have like giant spaceship-sized bugs that can travel through the void, space, and then just like a little swarmy comes off them. And I'd love that because it is implied that the bugs can travel.
Okay, fair enough.
Well, think about it. They have to, because otherwise, how could they invade?
Oh, yeah, true.
It's like,
yeah, that's a fair point.
Yeah. So it's implied they can travel through space somehow, and technically speaking,
Yeah. Okay, fair enough.
Maybe they just use asteroids. I don't know.
Maybe. Could be it.
I don't know, but we could have spaceship size. But that's kind of what I always feel they missed in Helldivers. Just to kind of bring it back, it's definitely implied that bugs can travel. But I love Helldivers. It's such a great game. Don't get me wrong, I fucking love the shit out of it. But I would love to see I feel like I love Helldivers, but I feel like because of its focus on running around shooting things with guns, you miss a really cool element which they could have added to the game, which would be space battle.
Especially when you have a whole fleet traveling to the planet.
Oh yeah, you have a whole fleet, and something I would love to do is I love the game, I love it to death, but because their focus is only on the ground warfare part, and it doesn't even focus on the whole ground warfare part. Occasionally you get an artillery piece. There's no tanks and stuff, the biggest thing you can call in is one of those walky little robots.
Yes.
I think, I'd love to see it expand into more of we're gonna wipe these bugs out, send in the tanks, send in this, and I get it. That's the Star Troopers thing. Yeah. It's they just send in mobile infantry because they're cheap and expendable and all this kind of shit. It's that's kind of the whole point. But it's at the same time, I'd love to see it. I would love to see things where you get to take on an air mission. And it's you're bombing, and then so you've got and because it's all built around squads. I played a few missions solo, but even there, you don't get as you really need to play minimum 2 people to really get the Helldivers experience.
Yeah, no, it's tough doing it by yourself.
Well, there's some things that completely block you out from doing it solo.
Oh yeah.
You can't access a lot of the hidden stuff around the mission because it's you need 2 people to press the buttons and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that's true.
So it's designed to be multiplayer. It's not really designed, and so for that you get we're going to have someone flying a bomber and someone flying fighters to protect the bomber. It's the bomber's got to get to where it's got to go, and it's only got downward facing weapons. So it can take out the air, anti-air, but the air things have to be taken out by the fighters and stuff. So you could do stuff like that, and then as I said, you could do space battles and be because the ships we have aren't designed all their guns face downwards.
Yeah.
It's they're supposed to be blowing up things, and it's okay, you've got to protect the fleet because our fleets come in, and then they've launched anti-air, and so you get little fighters and fly out and try and protect the fleet. I'd love to see some missions like that where it's kind of taking it to the next level, where it's
that'd be nice.
It's you're not just, and it's oh yeah, you got the missions on the thing, but it's you've got to do this mission, and it's you could have these missions not all the time active, but become active for a short amount of time. And it's we have to do this. You have to do this bombing mission because there's a giant nest, and it's the nest destruction missions are we're going in, we're going to blow it up with bombs. It's but this one's there's this massive nest that we can't even get people on the ground, so we've got to send in air support. Got to wipe it out with air first. And so I'd love to see something like that, and timed missions where it's oh no, they're launching a counterattack against us, and instead of the counterattack being go onto this ground and kill this many bugs or whatever, or automatrons, it's you have to do a space mission and protect the fleet, and if you fail that, if in the time period they destroy more ships than we saved, it's you can no longer attack that planet because the fleet's being wiped out, and you've got to go somewhere else until the time wears down. And I'd love to see stuff like that because I think it would just be a really good way to kind of increase the threat. So it's they can destroy our stuff back.
That'd be good. That'd be really cool.
Don't get me wrong, I love the game as it is. It's just I feel because they've gone, this is the element. I think the original Helldivers was a real-time strategy game, if I'm being honest.
I don't know. I never played the original.
Yeah, I wouldn't know, but like from the pictures I've seen, it looks more real time strategy than that third person shooter that we have.
Yeah.
Or first person shooter, technically.
Yeah.
But yeah, like don't get me wrong, I love it. I would love to see it expand and be like become more and more punishing, and be like
That'd be good.
Like actually pretty much become the only game that's currently out there where it's like, this is like actual strategic warfare. I know it's not the point of it, where it's like it's supposed to be, stupid fun.
Yeah.
But it is incredibly strategic when you think about it.
It's true.
Like, and like doing stuff like that. I would love to see it kind of become a little bit more like them to up the ante, where it's like it's still stupid fun, but it's like every now and then it's like, oh shit, yeah, that's right, we can actually lose this.
Yeah.
It's like, and that's kind of, and I
wasn't that planet at 97% yesterday? Damn, it's at 30.
Holy shit, hang on, what happened? Oh, we've just about liberated this. Oh, hang on, they're doing a counterattack. Oh shit, we lost it. The fleet was wiped out, or something like that. Where it's just like, oh shit, kind of those types of things. Where it's like, oh shit, yeah, right. Shit, yeah, that makes sense. Why they're so authoritarian, and like the reason that they're like, hey, super Earth this, and hey, we're cool guys that, and all that kind of shit is because like, oh shit, yeah, that's right, we lose. And it's like the whole thing is like, as we said, dying is like not a big thing, because like we just send in another one. It's like that's kind of the whole thing of like, hey, you see, you're expendable.
Yeah.
But it's like at the same time, it's like I would love to see things where it's like, oh yeah, you guys have just fucking lost this, because that's how real it is. And that's what I said, like air battles and space battles, because I would love to see their take on it. I would just love to see what they could do with it, and I'd love to see some kind of things where it's like, you've got like this thing, you're flying around, it's like they've got flying bugs or automatrons, and it's like,
oh, there's flying bugs.
Yeah, but like you're actually in the air trying to.
Oh yeah.
And it's like it's a teamwork thing where it's like, you got 3 or 4, you or 3 dudes protecting one dude in a bomber, and the bomber can attack the ground targets.
Yeah. Because
he's got the ordnance on him, but the flying ones can't really do much because they've only got like machine guns to kill the bugs that are in the air and stuff like that. Because like obviously, the reason I say that, and it wouldn't be like modern fighters where it's like you've got missiles and shit, is because that's not how they outfit their people. They kind of go like, yeah, you got one thing, you get this, you get that. You don't get like, yeah, we're sending you with all this kind of shit. It's like, no, we don't even send you with that shit. Well, you want a machine gun, you got to call that in later. We're not even going to put it with you. No, absolutely not.
You get the base stuff. You get something better later if you call it.
Yeah, but like that's kind of where I'm like, I would love to see it expand into that kind of stuff, because I'm like, basically, the ultimate thing that anything should ever try for, where it's like this kind of galaxy-wide fighting thing, is Star Wars Battlefront 2 Galactic Conquest.
Yeah,
that should be the gold standard. Except better if you got space battles on planet as well as in space.
Yes, that would be.
So it's like
fantastic.
So you got ground fights, air fights, space fights, and I'd love to see Helldivers kind of take that kind of step and be like, okay, what are you going to do? And it's like, as I said, you could have exactly the same thing where it's like you're in your fucking thing, and you got to run and get into like a little fucking shitty ass space fighter that's got like 2 missiles attached to it. And you got to try and take out like.
Because I mean, even the air fight would help out with the Titans, because they're so fucking huge.
And like,
that would help out.
Like I think it'd be a little bit too much to be like, oh, we want like this air mission with this ground mission. But like even something like when you call in an airstrike from like the actual planes, like you actually taking over the plane and being able to do it instead of just cool. Because that's kind of my pet peeve with the game. I love so much about it, but there's one thing I hate, which is like you call in an airstrike, and you're like, I call an airstrike there, and it's like, oh, that didn't go as far as I wanted to, so now my airstrike's hitting nothing.
Yeah.
Whereas you should technically just call it in and then like or get like to guide it properly, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
That's the one downside I think is like you throw a beacon, and it's like, or it's like a few of the times I've thrown stuff and it's like bounced off something, and you're like, are you fucking joking? It's like you throw it and it's like there's like one little rock and it's like you throw it and it goes toonk and then it goes flying that way and you're like, the fuck? And it's like, yep, you just wasted that and it has a cooldown. It's like, fucking hell. Whereas like if you could actually like, it's like when you called it in, it was like gave you a little tac map and you could like actually highlight the spot where you wanted it to come.
Actually, I don't know if they've made it harder or like extended the time frames. But with my antimatter rifle that I call in, it's like a 10-minute refresh time.
I think that's the same for most weapons you call in because you can just keep resupplying them.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't lose it.
Could have sworn on easier ones it's a little bit quicker than that. So it might just be a difficulty-based thing, or it could have been they just extended.
But, you know, as I said, that's kind of like...
Because as soon as I said it to Nick, he's just like... Because I'd called one down and then, like, we had to get out of an area, but I died getting out of the area. Mm-hmm. So I couldn't get back. And I went to go call it down, like, holy shit, I still have 6 minutes left. And he's like, didn't you call that down ages ago? He's like, yeah. Like, see, that's how OP that weapon is. He's like, don't get me wrong, it's a really good weapon.
But yeah, no, like there's other things where I'm just like, you know, like I really love it. I would prefer if like when you called in air spawn shit, you could actually like tac map it in your area, like not just anywhere on the map, but like you throw the beacon down, it's like doot, and then you get like a little thing. It's like, okay, here's where I want it, you know, like kind of thing.
Yeah,
that would be a little bit better. But again, I get it. That would kind of break up the fast paced stuff.
It would, yeah.
But like, But as I said, I would love to see like missions where it's like, okay, for this mission in particular, you are flying, or for this mission, like we could even like go like, you know, for this mission, it's like it's a flight mission, so it's like everyone's in an eagle and they got their machine gun and everyone's carrying like bombs. It's like you've got a limited number of bombs, so make sure you hit the right things. It's like, okay, sweet, and you got to try and like drop bombs onto targets on the ground and like to weaken an area for ground invasion. It's like that way you could have like multi-level missions where it's like this mission, none of this mission's available because the too strong in the area and you've got to air support it to wipe out that thing and then we'll send in the ground troops. Or it's like, we can't get to this planet because it's, you know, completely space blockaded, so we've got to send in the fleet and wipe out the fucking, you know, wipe out their space, and then this planet's invadable now. Yeah. And so I think it just gives like more options and like just increase the amount of fun that people could have with that.
It would.
Because
it really would.
You go back, you play Galactic Conquest.
So even if you didn't like the space or the air missions, you could just still only go to the ground
absolutely.
missions. You can sort of just pick and choose as you go. So that would be good.
But like, and it's like, but you go back to Galactic Conquest in Star Wars Battlefront 2, the original, and as I said, masterclass. It's like you go planets, you got to invade. Okay, to invade. Oh shit, they've got a fleet there. Got to kill the fleet before we can get people on the ground. And it's like, yeah, that makes sense. And it's like, but it wasn't slow. It was still fast paced. You'll run into spaceships, getting in, blowing up enemy ships. You know, that kind of stuff. And it's like, because you could do stuff like that, and like, absolutely. Like, you know, and that way it kind of makes, as I said, it gives that extra level of, extra level of fucking just, oh shit, yeah, we're actually fighting a war here, as opposed to at the moment where it kind of just feels like, we're going to this planet, and then we're going to drop you, and you're going to fight some stuff. And it's like, okay, that's cool. Not really fighting a war. We're just kind of going and stamping out some dissidents.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
But like with this whole thing, like, oh, the automatron fleet, I'm like, oh, cool. Does this mean we get to see some fleet on fleet action?
It'd be nice. It would be nice. Maybe going into the areas you sort of see like shots being fired at you at the fleet.
Again, but I would love to see it like actual like kind of being like, okay, so they're here now. Oh, we want to take this planet. Well, this is one of their big planets, so yeah, they've got like defenses. It's like, okay, so until those defenses are wiped out, until their fleet's wiped out, we can't get soldiers on the ground because our ships are being destroyed in the air, so we can't drop soldiers. And it's like, okay, so you got to go and take out their fleet. And it's like, okay, now that we've taken out their fleet, we can start dropping in soldiers into some areas, but some areas they're just too strong, so we got to go and use air superiority to wipe them out, wipe out their air defenses, so we can get the destroyers in low enough to drop the hell pods and all this kind of shit. And it's like, you know, like make it so it's like multi stages, and it's like so taking each planet actually feels like you've taken the planet. You've had to slog through like the fucking thing, Because like it is fun. Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
I love it. But like
it is fun.
every now and then, I'm just kind of like, how did this help us take the planet? Or sorry, using the correct terminology, liberate the planet.
Yes.
It's like how did like blowing up bugs nests, like that makes sense how that liberates the planet. But it's like turning off a broadcast.
No, the automatons, you're actually going in and destroying the factories they have there.
Oh, yeah.
That's producing.
Yeah, no, but I mean
The
like
automatons.
going and turning off a broadcasting system, an illegal broadcast, which is one of the missions you can do. So anyway, basically, I think there's a lot more. Well, I think there's room for Helldivers to grow.
Oh yeah, of course it is.
And as good as it's been, and I kind of say this, as good as it's been, I do want it to grow a little bit because I don't think it's kind of, we're dropping a new premium battle pass type thing, because it's kind of what its requisition shop is. It's like a battle pass.
Yeah.
It's just not specifically called that.
Yeah.
But like dropping a new one of that, I don't. There'll come a point, like, because we have to keep in mind that this is a very new game.
It is.
Like I know it's been out for like a month or two now, but it's still very new in the terms of things. But a problem with a lot of these games is they go like, but the battle pass will keep people playing. No. Once the game becomes repetitive and tedious, and people are just like, I'm doing the same stuff all the time, and I've unlocked like the biggest thing for something like Helldivers is I've unlocked everything.
Yeah.
It's like now that I have no progression anymore. So but you get the new battle pass. It's like, is that really going to keep people coming?
It's
back?
not enough.
Are cosmetics and one new weapon really going to keep people coming back?
Let's face it. I've looked at a lot of the armor that's on there, and it's
When
you look at a heavy piece of armor, a light piece of armor, and all that, they all seem to have the same stats. There is a different buff on it.
Sometimes.
The ones I've looked at, the two main ones that I've looked at for my playstyle, there are two different buffs on there. So,
but anyway, like my point is, like, I don't think that just a new battle pass is enough to keep people coming back.
No.
I think they really need to make the game have a bit more variation in it.
Yeah.
And so the new enemy is going to be a good standpoint because, again, fighting, like, in the small time I've been playing it, I have different kind of loadout play styles for both the two main enemies. So a new one will give me a new play style. But again, as I said, I would like to see them do some stuff where it's like, this is a different type of mission. And it's not always there, but sometimes it's there. And so it kind of gives you something to want to come back and do.
Yeah.
And be like, cool, we're going to, the next big fleet battle is going to be tomorrow or whatever. It's like, this is the weekend. On this weekend, there's going to be a big fleet battle, so you get to do all the space fighting missions.
Yeah.
But like after that, it's like, okay, they're not available for a little bit of time because for whatever reason. So now you're just back to the normal missions or whatever. But I think that's the kind of stuff you need to do to keep that longevity in a game like Helldivers. Otherwise, it'll just become one of those games where it's like, you come back for the battle pass, right? Like, Call of Duty. Let's be real. Let's say Call of Duty. Why do people come back for Call of Duty? There is no reason to come back to Call of Duty. It's just, you come back for the battle pass, right? And people go like, I suppose I spent money on it, so I should come back and finish it. But the second you don't buy the next battle pass, and you go, no. You don't go back to Call of Duty. I haven't gone back to Call of Duty.
No, neither have I.
And I just don't care.
No.
And it's just like, I just don't care anymore.
Yeah.
I'm out of this system, and I don't care.
I suppose they had a few like good points, but it was too few and far between having those fun games where you'd have those randoms join you and you'd have fun with people you don't know.
And that's kind of the kicker for me. And it's like, I want to see Helldivers do well, but I don't think, and fingers crossed it does, and they keep making these small adapts. Like, you don't have to do all of the stuff at once.
No,
drip feed it to the people, because if you give it all at once, it'll become again that novelty thing of, we've done it a few. Okay, we've stopped now. Whereas like you drip feed it, they kind of like, I want to do this. And then, it was really fun last time we did this. And then, you give them a bit of time. And then the next one comes, like, remember last time we did this? It was really fun. Anyway. Yeah. Basically, my point is they've already said, there's another kind of that premium pass coming out.
Yeah.
And they're like, and it's like, is that your idea of longevity for this game? because there's not enough variation there. Like they don't. In reality, it's just a cosmetic that kind of changes a little bit.
Yeah, that's about it.
Anyway, that's enough of downing about that. Well, guys, we've come to the end of another podcast. Thank you for joining us. If you have enjoyed the video, consider liking, sharing, commenting, or subscribing. Yeah. We really do appreciate it. This one was a little bit long, but it kind of makes up for last week not having one. Yeah. We covered 2 weeks worth of conversation in 1 week.
Yeah.
But yeah, other than that, Kris, any last minute things to add?
No, nothing really.
Fucking who could have guessed that?
Yeah. Hey, look, we went through some stuff.
Classic Kris.
Oh, you had
Classic Kris.
commentary.
Classic Bliss. Anyway, thank you once again, guys. I've been Darcy, that's Kris, and we will catch you next time. See you later.
See ya. Make it even.
Listen, he doesn't have legs. Oh, shall we begin?
Check these.
Oh, we got another subscriber.
59. No, 69. Nice. No more. We want no more.
Stop that.